Okay, so I'm sitting down for another little session at my art journal, but let me first show you what I started with yesterday. So this has been one of those days where I'm working every other day and I work night shift, so it basically means I'm sleeping at some point every day, either recuperating from the night before or getting ready for the next night. So I haven't been doing anything in big blocks this week, so I threw a little sketch on this page, and the next day or whatever, maybe 2 days later, I came back and I just splashed some color on it. I don't really know exactly where I'm going to go, except that I have laid out just a bunch of florals, butterflies, pattern paper, book pages, all kinds of little stuff. I won't use all of this, but I keep a little folder down by my table here that I throw a lot of things in that I just like, and either patterns or, images. And I have these all over, but I keep one really close by. So if I'm having a lazy day and I don't feel like getting up and going and hunting something specific, I pull that out, and basically that's where all this came from. So I'm just going to sit down and play with this, and your guess is as good as mine where it's going to go. But that's what I like about art journaling. I have my wine, so I loosen up, and I really don't use it for that. I just wanted wine tonight. So here we go. Come along. Okay, so I start off just pulling out some bits of paper, tissue, printed things that I have there in my stack, creating kind of a makeshift little dress, I guess, for her bodice. I'm not too exact, just torn and placed. Now some of these, like what I'm putting down now, that blue that you see, that's from a calendar from the Dollar Tree. And actually several of these images on here, it had flowers, birds. They were on a background of already collaged looking print. And so I love that. It's $1 and you get all these different pieces you can tear up and use in your journal here and there. So keep an eye out for those. They're awesome. Some other things that I'm using here, that clock was from wrapping paper. I have had it for years and years, and it's got a whole bunch of different antique little pocket watches printed on it. And I have used those in so many collages in the last 15 years. It's unbelievable. And I didn't even have a whole roll of that stuff. I just had a piece somebody gave me. So keep your eye out for tissue paper or gift wrap, that kind of thing, that has interesting pattern that you might like to use in your art journals. And you don't need a lot of it. I mean, get it and swap with friends. I did that a lot with napkins. But that big purple flower you see in her hair, that was a napkin, and that was from a napkin swap. Because when you buy these beautiful napkins, you can pull them apart. They're usually 3-ply, and you just want that top ply. So you can peel it apart and use it, and it's wonderful. You can put it over things. You can see some writing through it, depending on how light. Probably not that purple flower, you wouldn't be able to. But some of the lighter ones you can. And so they're very versatile. But when you buy them, they're 15 to 20 in a pack. Well, you don't need that many. So getting a swap with some other people, and you keep a couple and you swap out all the others, and they send you their extras, and then you have a stash. And I've still got napkins that I did from a swap 20 years ago. So I'm just adding a bunch of different elements in place of hair. I'm dying for spring. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of rainy, wet weather. So that's what's been on my mind, and so that's what goes into my art journal today. Birds, butterflies, flowers. That's what she's made of. And didn't want to do the traditional little wafy figure that looks like she's going to float away. This is a real woman here with flowers in her hair. Of course, because real women go around with flowers and butterflies in their hair. In my world, they do. So I'm just layering, going back and adding some details to her face and her eyes. This is, what is this? The Jane Davenport, maybe Incredible pen. I go back and forth on this thing. It gets finicky to write over things like acrylic paint and that sort of thing. And I do like it because I like the faintness of it. I don't always want a really thick outline. Now, I have pens for that, and she has another one in her Making Faces collection that's very good for that. I think it's called the Ultimate Pen. But it's a very thick, dark line, and I don't always want that. So I do pull out that little fountain pen looking So I'm just going in and adding highlights around her face. I use gesso over top of her dress and the flowers just to kind of push them back a little bit and meld them into something, because they're all such, some are more stark, brighter colors than others. So gesso is my great equalizer. So I'm trimming the napkin and tissue pieces that are over the edge of the page, clipping it down to get it laying kind of flat. I used butterflies. They were foil stickers, cut it in half, and I put them on her shoulders as wings, but I decided I didn't like that foil. So that's another good thing about gesso. A little watered down gesso over that, and it tones down that shiny foil and just makes pretty butterfly. So some more detail on her lips. I use my watercolor pencils that I keep handy on my table, and my favorite Sharpie white paint pen. And then I end up doing some white ink through stencils for the little holes. I want it to look like sun shining through a screen, so I kind of do that all over. Now, if you've enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, you want to, and talk to me. Leave me a comment. I love hearing from you, and I'll see you next time.